Sure.
What what did you find was a surprising outcome or a benefit when you were doing the program?
Yeah, one of the things that comes to mind right off the bat, I tend to be pretty active. I'm somewhat fit, but even going through a lot of the exercises that were being trained or we were being taught on, I could feel certain muscles lighting up that I hadn't felt in many years. Um, and it was a nice surprise because a lot of the muscles that are around the area of like the my curvature, especially in like my the thoracic part of the spine, I could feel like a lot of the muscles that maybe haven't been used in a long time kind of firing and becoming sore. So that was a big surprise to me since I thought I was, decently active, but I guess I was missing those.
Do you think those muscles were sort of not being used because of the scoliosis?
It's probably a mixture of not maybe the scoliosis, but also just habits. I'm 30, so like I've had scoliosis for about like probably 15 years or so. So I'd imagine that my body at every level, joint, muscle, and bone, has like modified the way that it moves to not access those maybe damaged or like hurting areas, and so that aggravates it further. Yeah.
What were the benefits that you noticed when you sort of started doing this routine regularly?
Yeah, improved mobility. I could feel like my ability to expand my chest when I'm breathing was improved. Sometimes in the mornings when I wake up prior to it, I would feel like a bit of an ache around the curvature areas, like the apex, the curve. Those were going away or decreasing severely. Um, just overall muscle strength, I could feel better posture as I stood. And I could kind of see that an evenness in my shoulders was returning as well, since I tend to have one drift a little bit above the other.
And
Yeah.
what do you hope would happen? Let's say you were to commit to this for the next 3 months. What do you see happening in the future?
Yeah, I suspect, I'd hope that it improves even further, and we'd actually see like starting to see maybe bone drift back into the right positions. I know that one of the challenges that comes with this is that a lot of our spine is held by ligaments, and as we were talking before, like we think things can't be done, and then we find out that they can. Ligature can be trained and strengthened and modified, but it's just a very slow process. So I'd hope that probably like a good 3 to 6 month stint of like proper daily adherence to the training will help to start pulling things back in place. And then, as we mentioned before, maybe after a few years, you would see like real change in the curvature.
Yeah. What about getting taller?
Yeah, that's another funny thing. I don't know if it's in my head, but I feel like for like 2, 3 months afterwards, I felt a little bit taller. I don't know if I was standing straighter or if my torso was elongating a little bit because there's a lot of twisting motions that are helping to like uh, activate all the muscles that kind of line together from the neck down to through the thoracic spine, through like the stomach. And so because those twisting motions are kind of trying to reverse things, I felt that I was like a quarter of an inch taller. Is it a dream? Maybe I'm just, hoping. Maybe.
Remind me again, how did you find the program? Was it like online search, YouTube, that kind of stuff?
I recall watching your videos, I will say like 7 years ago now, like a long time ago. And I think recently, because I sit a lot for my work, I like transitioned into fully remote work. I'm at home a lot and I have like much more responsibility. I don't know if it's just an instinctual feeling, but I could feel a little bit worse, like the curvature getting a little worse or my back and my shoulders kind of become more uneven. And I'm working now, so I had the funds. So I started to look into different solutions. I found yours. I listened to some of your videos. What you said makes sense to me. I do have some of a medical background and like a biomechanical background, so I understood at a fundamental level what you were trying to show with your training. And so yeah, YouTube and like knowing and seeing what you were talking about made sense to me, so I decided to take the plunge and kind of
Sure.
get into it.
What made you do the one-on-one training versus like one of the self-led courses?
I just wanted to have like someone guiding me. Like I said, I have a lot of physical activity experience, but I also recognize that a lot of this stuff, because of the 3D nature of the spine, and I think you talk about this a lot too, you don't want certain forces activating or functioning on sections that you don't want it to function on. So, for
Yeah.
example, if we're trying to rotate our thoracic spine a certain direction, you don't want that to translate into the lumbar, causing more issues. So I wanted to avoid those issues. So I wanted to go for the one-on-one to like have somebody watch me, make sure I'm doing everything right. Then I can carry that into my own training, moving forward.